Stop scrolling,
This feels
because this
so
story will
right.
stay with
You
you
have
long
no
after it
idea.
ends. What if the person who changed your life was only meant to stay for a moment? What if healing came from the one place you never wanted to return to? If you believe in second chances, quiet love, and the kind of stories that hit your soul, then hit subscribe right now, because this is one you don't want to miss. Dr. Andrew Brown never believed in small towns, quiet lives, or second chances. He believed in precision, control, and saving lives under the harsh fluorescent lights of a New York hospital. But everything he thought mattered shattered the night his wife died. Grief didn't come gently, it came like a storm that tore through everything he knew, leaving behind silence where laughter once lived. And in that silence, Andrew realized something terrifying: he didn't know his own children anymore. So he did something irrational. Something completely unlike him. He left. Not just the hospital. Not just the city. He left the life he had built piece by piece, and drove his children, Ephraim and Delia, across the country to a small mountain town called Everwood. A place where nothing moved fast. A place where no one cared who he used to be. A place where healing wasn't guaranteed. At first, Everwood felt like a mistake. The air was too still. The people were too kind. And the quiet, it was unbearable. Ephraim hated it immediately. A piano prodigy with a heart full of anger, he saw the move as betrayal. To him, Everwood wasn't a fresh start. It was exile. Every note he played carried frustration, every glance at his father filled with blame. "You didn't do this for us," Ephraim once snapped. "You did this because you couldn't face what you lost." And maybe he was right. Andrew tried to rebuild, opening a small clinic in town. But in Everwood, people didn't measure worth by reputation, they measured it by presence. And Andrew, despite all his skill, was emotionally absent. Then came Drive. Harold Abbott, the town's long-standing physician, respected, proud, and quietly threatened by Andrew's arrival. Where Andrew was distant, Harold was rooted. Where Andrew avoided connection, Harold lived for it, even if he struggled to show it to his own family. Their rivalry wasn't loud, but it was constant. Two men, both broken in different ways, both trying to hold onto control in a world that refused to give it back. But Everwood had a way of changing people. Slowly, quietly, almost without them noticing. Ephraim met Amy. She wasn't perfect. She was grieving too, though she hid it behind forced smiles and careful words. There was a sadness in her that mirrored his, even if neither of them said it out loud. Their connection didn't happen instantly. It built in silences. In shared looks. In moments where neither of them felt so alone. And for the first time since his mother died, Ephraim felt something shift. Not happiness, but possibility. Meanwhile, Andrew began to see the cracks in himself. It happened through his patience. Through the stories of people who had lost more than he had, yet still found reasons to keep going. A young boy afraid of dying. A woman who refused treatment because she had already said goodbye to life. A father who didn't know how to talk to his son, mirroring Andrew's own failure. Each case wasn't just medicine. It was a mirror. And slowly, Andrew began to understand something he had spent his entire life avoiding. You can't fix everything. Some wounds don't need solutions. They need presence. The turning point came on a quiet night. Ephraim had a recital. A big one. The kind that could shape his future. Andrew promised he'd be there. But a patient needed him. A life hung in the balance. And Andrew made the choice he had always made. He stayed. By the time he arrived at the recital hall, it was over. Ephraim stood outside, alone. "You missed it," he said, his voice empty. "I was saving someone's life," Andrew replied. Ephraim nodded slowly. "And what about mine?" That question didn't echo. It shattered. Because for the first time, Andrew didn't have an answer. That night, something changed. Not dramatically. Not instantly. But deeply. Andrew began showing up. Not perfectly, but consistently. He listened more. Spoke less. And little by little, the distance between him and his son began to close. In Everwood, healing didn't come with grand gestures. It came in small moments. A shared meal. A quiet apology. A hand on a shoulder. Even Harold Abbott began to change. Through conflict, through pride, through moments of unexpected vulnerability, he and Andrew found something resembling respect. Not friendship. Not yet. But understanding. And sometimes, that's enough to begin. But Everwood wasn't just about healing. It was about truth. And truth has a way of surfacing when you least expect it. One winter, secrets began to unravel. Amy's past, Ephraim's choices, Andrew's guilt over decisions he had buried for years. And when everything came to light, the fragile piece they had built began to crack. Ephraim made a decision that would change everything. He left. Not forever, but long enough to remind everyone that healing isn't linear. That progress can be undone. That love, no matter how strong, can be tested. Andrew stood once again at a crossroads. Chase his son, or let him go. Control, or trust. This time, he chose differently. He let Ephraim find his own way. Because love isn't holding on. It's knowing when to step back. Months passed. Seasons changed. And when Ephraim returned, he wasn't the same boy who left. He was quieter, stronger, more certain. Their reunion wasn't dramatic. No big speeches, no tears, just a simple moment. "Hey, Dad." And for Andrew, that was everything. Everwood didn't fix them. It didn't erase their pain. But it gave them something better. A place to grow, a space to forgive, a chance to begin again. Because sometimes, the most beautiful stories aren't about perfection. They're about broken people, finding their way back to each other.